One of the thing that comes to my mind, Wendell and Anya, is automation. Obviously, we're going to see more and more automation that's going to have an impact on the global economy. Probably see some eradication of low-wage, labor-intensive jobs. Many of the developing countries have really grown since the 1990s through export manufacturing, textiles. Could see some rebalancing occurring, and there's a good question, an ethical question of what gets automated, what jobs get automated, what don't, how will that impact the global economy? I think that's another area where I see some potential overlap with the work your team is doing.
Yeah, that's a key area. Every technology for 200 years has created fears that it's going to steal more jobs than it creates. None has done so yet, though there's often a lag between the destruction of some jobs and the creation of new ones. AI is likely to be the same in the sense that it will create many high-end jobs, but that's not going to be helpful to the truck drivers who now have been replaced by self-driving trucks. And there's certainly regions of the world that will be devastated in that process. So I think that's where we become particularly concerned about the trade-offs that are taking place with the choices that we're making. Perhaps one of the wonderful things about the Carnegie Council for Ethics and International Affairs is the way in which it is trying to rethink what ethics mean in this geopolitical world that we find ourselves. And I think perhaps one of the key elements in all of that is not looking at ethics in some binary sense, but to truly appreciate that ethics is largely about trade-offs, and it's largely about appreciating that any choice we make will have trade-offs, and therefore looking at, if we are going to make a choice, how are we going to address the downsides or ameliorate the downsides of the choice that we have made? And I think all of us know that most of the choices that do get made are impacting the same citizens. It's the same citizens in all of our countries that get hurt over and over again. So that's where equality comes into the equation. But it's not just in terms of addressing that, but it's also in understanding that simultaneously, those of us who end up on the right side of the choices are getting rich. Think of all the money that was made by those who invested in tech firms during the pandemic. Well, millions and billions of lives were being devastated. So we're in that area where I think perhaps we, in all of these subjects, but particularly in climate and AI, since that's the two subjects we're addressing here today, how we can make sure that there's an awareness of what the trade-offs are in the various choices we need to make.